Jnanam guhyatamam yattat saksat bhagavatoditam anvavochan gamishyanta kripaya dina vatsala Jnanam guhyatamam yattat saksat bhagavatoditam anvavochan gamishyanta kripaya dina vatsala Jnanam guhyatamam yattat Jnanam guhyatamam yattat saksat bhagavatoditam anvavochan gamishyanta kripaya dina vatsala Jnanam guhyatamam yattat saksat bhagavatoditam anvavochan gamishyanta kripaya dina vatsala Jnanam knowledge guhyatamam most confidential Yat what is Tat that Sakshat directly Bhagavata Uditam propounded by the Lord Himself Anvavochan gave instruction Gamishyanta while departing from Kripaya by causeless mercy Dinavatsala those who are very kind to the poor and meek Translation As they were leaving, those Bhakti Vedantas who are very kind to poor-hearted souls instructed me in that most confidential subject which is instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself.
Jnanam guhyatamam yattat sakshat bhagavatoditam annavochan gamishyanta kripaya dinavasala. So, yesterday we have been discussing the symptoms of Guru and the symptoms of disciple. Who is actual disciple and who is actual Guru. It is stated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sakshad haritena samasta shastrai ruktastatha bhavataiva sadbhi kintu prabhoja priyaiva tasya bande gurasri charanaram. So, Guru's position is very exalted. Why exalted? Because he is the confidential servant of Krishna. Kintu prabhoja priyaiva tasya. One, suppose you want to do some business and with some firm and a representative comes to transact business, naturally one tries to satisfy that representative so that the business can be done very fairly. This is natural psychology. Similarly, Kintu Prabhurja Priya Evatas Guru is very dear to Krishna because his business is to serve Krishna. His business is to execute the will of Krishna. Therefore here it is said, Jatta Sakshat Bhagavato Ditam. Don't disturb in this way. Sakshat Bhagavato Ditam. Sakshat means directly. What was spoken directly by the Supreme Personality of God. And that is Jnanam, that is real knowledge. Jnanam Guhyatamam. Guhyatamam, most confidential. Guhya, Guhyatara and Guhyatamam. What is that verse in the 18th chapter? Guhyat Guhyatamam Prabhakshami. That the conclusion is that the most confidential knowledge is that which is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. And what it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Guhyat Guhyatamam. Find out this verse. Could not? Before Sadhudhan. Yes.
Thus I have explained to you the most confidential of all knowledge. Deliberate on this fully, then do what you wish to do.
So Krishna personally giving the most confidential knowledge. And here it is also mentioned that the saintly persons, the Mahatma, they simply spoke what was spoken by Krishna himself directly. That's all. Here it is stated, Annavachon Gamishanta Guhyatamam Jatta Sakshat Bhagavato. This is very important statement. Jnanam Guhyatamam. The most confidential part of knowledge is that which is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. Anyone who is interested in spiritual knowledge, they will benefit simply by accepting what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. This is Jnana. That is also stated by Krishna, Etat Jnanam, Etat Annathajat Ajnanam. Anything beyond this knowledge, what is spoken by Krishna, that is Ajnana, ignorance, that is not Jnana. Unfortunately, it has become a fashion now to interpret Bhagavad Gita in their own foolish way and mislead the public. These I have repeatedly spoken in many places that in the Western countries, so many Swamis and Yogis, they went there for the last at least 100 years. 100 years from India, many Swamis and Yogis had been, still they are going. But they could not turn even a single person to Krishna consciousness. Not a single person. Throughout the whole history of these 100 years of Swamis going to the Western country, but could not turn even a single soul to understand Krishna. This is a fact. It is not that I am very proud No. The truth must be spoken. Why they could not do so? The defect was that they did not say what Krishna said directly. They said their own words. They manufactured their own philosophy. Here, the saintly persons, the Mahatma, Gomishanta, when they were going, they confidentially said what was spoken by Krishna directly. This is the secret of success. Try to understand. Annavochan Gomishanta Kripaya Dinavasal. Guru or Mahatma, they are very merciful. Merciful in this way that they know how a person can be elevated to the topmost platform of knowledge, and they can give it. And this is not very difficult. It is said here that Jata Sakshat Bhagavato Uditam. This is mercifulness. A guru's business is to deliver the same message as Krishna says. Then he is Dinavatsala. Otherwise, if he says something else, he is a cheater. He is not Guru. He must be to the suffering humanity, being kind upon them, Dinavatsala. Dina means very poor, poor in knowledge. At the present moment, not only at the present moment, always, those who are in the material world, they are very, very poor. Very, very poor. Girinam dina chetasam. Because their mind is very crippled. They are thinking that this duration of life, say 50 years or 20 years or at most 70 or 100 years, this is everything, that's all. Therefore, they are very poor. Their expansion of knowledge is very, very meager. And it is the business of the saintly person to be kind upon them. That this is not the life. You are thinking, making adjustment to live for 50 years or 100 years very comfortably. Or in next life, Kurmis, they also take consideration of the next life to be promoted in the heavenly planet or other higher planetary system. But still they are poor. Poor. Because they are lacking in the knowledge of eternal life, full of knowledge and blissfulness. That they do not know. Satchidananda life. So it is the business of the Mahatma to enlighten them to the real platform of life. Krishna says personally, Mamupeta kontiya dukkhalam asasatam napnuvanti mahatmanam samsiddhim paramangata. This is real life. To go back to home, back to Godhead, Krishna, Mamupeta. If you go back to home, back to Godhead, that is samsiddhim parama. That is the highest perfection of life. But generally almost, why generally? Almost everyone, 99.9% people, they want to become happy within this material world. Therefore they are poor, very, very poor. And the Mahatmas, they give the knowledge that this is not life. This is a temporary platform. Asasatam. Dukkhalayam asasatam. This is confidential knowledge. You are trying to be happy. Suppose Brahma, he lives for many millions of years. Still it is dukkhalayam, asasatam. That life is also temporary. What is millions of years duration of life in comparison to the eternal life? So, beginning from Brahma down to the small ant, whoever is within this material world, it is to be understood their understanding is very poor. And the Mahatma, being kind upon this poor soul, they deliver the same knowledge as Krishna gives. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam. This is Guru's business. Do not manufacture anything. There is no question of, there is no need of manufacturing anything. Simply, you speak to the suffering humanity the same thing which Krishna says. Sakshat Bhagavata Uditam. This is the business of Guru. It is clearly said. Narada will explain further in the next verses how he became advanced. This verse is very important. That Jnanam Guhyatamam Jattat. Actually, perfect knowledge you can get from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in parampara system, you get that knowledge. Evam parampara pratam imam rajarsayo vidu. Parampara means they do not change the word of Krishna. That is parampara. Krishna says, Manmana bhavamad bhakta madhyaji mam namaskuru. And the parampara system says the same thing. No change. They never say that I have now become Krishna and you surrender unto me, think of me. There are many so-called incarnations. They are preaching like that. You think of me. Same, repeating the same word in his own favor, not in Krishna's favor. That is not Mahatma. That is Duratma. Mahatma means who always speaks in Krishna's favor. That is Mahatma. This is the purport of this verse. Jnanam Guhyatamam Jatta Sakshat Bhagavan says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja. So our business should be to repeat the same thing, that you give up all nonsense engagement, simply surrender to Krishna, simply think of Krishna, simply become a devotee of Krishna, simply offer obeisance to Krishna. That will make your life successful. This is Mahatma's business. Sakshat, not indirectly, directly. Directly here Krishna says, Guhyat Guhyatamam. Read that verse again.
Itite jnanamakyatam guhyat gupitaram maya vimersyai tadasheshena
Jathechasi tathakuru. The word is used there, Jathechasi tathakuru. We have got the little independence. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja. But why people are not doing that? Because they have got little independence. Every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna has got the quality of full independence. Naturally, the part and parcel of Krishna, it has also independence. But that is not absolute independence. Just like independent country, America, independent country. We are also now independent country. But the citizens, they have independence dependent on the state independence, not absolute independence. Similarly, we have got independence. We living entities, we have got independence, but dependent on the independence of Krishna, not absolute independence. So, therefore we become entangled in our own karma. Krishna does not give anyone a position or karma. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. That he does not give anyone a better position or anyone a inferior position. Everyone creates his own position. Krishna simply orders that this is your position, now you enjoy or suffer. We create our own position. Therefore, the most confidential part of knowledge is, Krishna says that sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam bhaja. That is the guhyatamam, jnanam guhyatamam, the same thing as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavad. One who has understood Bhagavad Gita properly, he can understand what is Srimad Bhagavatam. Where Bhagavad Gita ends, Bhagavad Gita teachings of Bhagavad Gita ends at the point when Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam, to surrender. And the Bhagavad begins from that point. Janmadasya jataha sattam param dhimai. Sattam param dhimai. Surrender. Otherwise, next paragraph of the Srimad Bhagavatam in the beginning, dharma projita koitavatra. Except surrendering to Krishna, there cannot be any religious system. The real religious system, therefore Krishna says, sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam. That is religion, to surrender to Krishna. Otherwise, as it is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, dharma projita koitavatra, all cheating type of religious system is kicked out from Srimad Bhagavatam. Kicked out, projita. To merge into the Supreme, to become God, to become incarnation of God. This kind of religious system is very rigidly kicked out from Srimad Bhagavatam because they are not religion. Real religion is to surrender to Krishna. Therefore it is said, Jattat sakshat bhagavato vritam. If you want to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then you must abide by the order of the Supreme Personality. But they have no idea who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is his order, what is our relationship with it. These things are unknown. It is simply known to the, devotees. Why it is monopolized by the devotees, that is also answered in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktyamam avijanati javan jaschami tattva. If you want to know what is God, what is Krishna, then you have to go through this bhakti marga or devotion. There is no other way. Krishna never says that he can be known through speculation or cultivation of so-called speculative knowledge. No. Then he would have said, through jnana one can understand. No. Neither karma one can understand, neither yoga. This is explained in many various places of this earth. Only bhakti. Only bhakti. And it is the duty of the spiritual master or Mahatma to spread bhakti card. That is the most confidential. That is the most merciful humanitarian activity. Because people are suffering for want of this knowledge. Therefore, our Krishna consciousness movement is the only movement, I can declare very proud, which can actually do some benefit to the human society. It is the only movement. All other bogus movement, I declare. Let them come and study the Shastras and decide for themselves. They are all cheating. Only this Bhagavad Bhakti, because you cannot understand Bhagavan without undergoing the process of devotional service. Bhaktyamam abhijanati javan jasyami tattva. If you want to know in truth, tattva, Krishna wants that one should understand him, tattva, not that superficially to take Krishna, that he was very fond of the gopis, and let us hear the Leela of Krishna. Why Krishna's gopis Leela? Why not Krishna's Leela killing the demons? That the people are not interested to hear about Krishna's killing the demons. Because the gopis Leela, it appears to be the transaction between young woman and man. It very quickly appears. But Krishna's other business is there. Paritrana sadhunam vinasaya duskitam. That is also Krishna's Leela. That is Krishna's Leela, just like Lord Ramchandra is killing the Ravana. That is also Krishna's Leela. Lord Ramchandra's Leela and Krishna's Leela, there is So, we should take any Leela of Krishna as supreme. Not that simply the most confident, the Vrindavan Leela, Krishna's Leela with the gopis is the most confidential Leela. We should not entertain this confidential Leela unless we are liberated. It is very difficult subject, and because they cannot understand what is Krishna's Leela, they imitate, they fall down. There are so many things we do not wish to discuss. But we should be, if we are actually serious about advancing in Krishna Leela, then we must know first of all what is Krishna, what he desires, and how he shall act. Then we can enter into the confidential part of Krishna's Leela. Otherwise we shall misunderstand and fall down. So, here it is said, the Sakshat Bhagavato Uditam. So what is Bhagavata? Bhagavan, Krishna never says that first of all you hear my Leela with the gopis. He never says that. He first of all says that you surrender unto me. First of all, learn how to surrender to Krishna. First of all, learn how to love Krishna. Then you can taste what is Krishna's Leela with the gopis. It is just like Mukharavinda. Just like Krishna's Leela in the Dasama Skanda with the gopis is compared with the Krishna's face, smiling face. But we have to worship Krishna beginning with his feet, not immediately. We shall look to the face of Krishna. We shall misunderstand. First of all, try to be Krishna's devotee by offering your worshipable things at the lotus feet of Krishna. The first canto or second canto of Bhagavad Gita are the two lotus feet of Krishna. So, from the very beginning, we should hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Gradually, we shall come to the face. That is real understanding of Krishna. And without understanding of the other 9 cantos of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, if we simply jump over the 10th canto, and especially to the 35th chapter, 5 chapters, Rasa Panchadhyaya, this is not very favorable. Of course it is favorable. Krishna's Leela, you hear anyway, this way, that way. But if we misunderstand Krishna, then there is fall down. That is instructed by Srila Sukadeva Goswami, that don't try to understand Krishna's Lila all of a sudden without understanding Krishna. So, regulative principle to serve, as it is stated in the Shastra, or as it is enjoined by the spiritual master. Ado sadhya tato sadhu sangha, tato bhajana kriya athanartha nivittisya, tato nishtha tato ruchi, tatha shakti tato bhava, sadhukanam premna pradudbhave bhavet kramaha. Krama. So, Dinavasala, the Mahatmas who instructed Narad Muni, that here is the confidence, knowledge. Please fully surrender unto the lotus feet of Krishna. So, Narad Muni admits here, Annavochan Gamishanta. Gamishanta, when the Mahatmas were going, he sat for 4 months, so they become very happy, they become very pleased. This is the business, how to make the Mahatma pleased. Jasya prasadat bhagavat prasad. If you try to please Mahatma, the spiritual master, then bhagavat prasada will automatically come. Jasya prasadat bhagavat prasad. So here it says, Annabochan Gamishanta, Kripaya, Kripaya Dinavasala. Actually, Vaishnava is Dinavasala. They are very unhappy. Just like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was unhappy seeing the people, degenerated people suffering in this material world. Prahlad Maharaj said to Nishingadev, so my dear sir, I have no problem. I am happy anywhere by chanting your word, by glorifying your activities. But I am simply morose, seeing the fallen down condition. Maya sukhaya bharamud bhato vimura. I am simply thinking of these rascals who for flickering happiness engage themselves in so many material activities, forgetting your relationship. So Dinavasala, the sadhu, they should be very much compassionate to the suffering humanity and give them the message which is spoken directly by Krishna, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mahamana. This is the mission of Krishna consciousness. Thank you.